basketball fans, Raptors today breaking down the Toronto Raptors on the eve of their matchup with their Western Conference rival, the Dallas Mavericks. Akil Augustine, Paul Jones, Warren Ward. Gentlemen, let's get into it. The Toronto Raptors fighting their way through, finding this new identity, someone else who's found a new identity, and some success, but we're going to talk about the types of teams they're having success against. This Dallas Mavericks team, when you start talking Dallas, you got to start with Luka Doncic and the pairing of Kyrie Irving, who re-upped and rejoined the team. What was your suspicions about this group coming into this season?
You know, I said it yesterday, Akil. I think the fact that the NBA has devalued defense really helps this team. like they are. I mean, people looked at the first iteration of that thought with Golden State and figured, okay, you score the ball, you're good. It was lost on people how good defensively that team.
I was about to say, because they did have their stalwarts, Draymond.
Absolutely.
Harrison Barnes wasn't a bad defender at the time.
And everybody thought, oh, that's a ticket now. We just score it. And I'm looking at Dallas, and they're putting together this Dallas team. And I just thought, how do they make it work? Well, they make it work by outscoring
pace.
People. In the words of Mike D'Antoni, when I asked him about defense, he said, the best defensive team is the one that has the most points at the end of the game. That's the way he put it. And you look at Dallas and their offensive metrics and where they sit, they're up there. They're scoring that thing, and it's classic new wave NBA. It's exciting. It's the windshield wipers. We're up and down, and there's 3-pointers being hoisted and breakdowns and handles, and it's entertaining. Is it going to win in the end? And
that's the real question.
That's a question. And I don't know if you can without at least a modicum of defense, Warren. At least some.
But, Jason Kidd said this team has no issue playing up in the 120s. And, you look at where they sit right now. They average 121 a game.
They're giving up 116.
They are first in three-pointers made.
Yeah.
They are first in three-pointers attempted every single night. They shoot 17 threes, made 17 threes a game, and they shoot 42. So it just goes to show you, where they want to play. And I think with the addition of Mr. Derek Lively, that ball screen now is deadly. But they haven't played anyone good. That's the only thing
yet. Let's talk about it.
So,
Charlotte, Brooklyn,
they haven't played
Chicago,
anybody
Detroit
worth mentioning. Yeah. But they will start too soon, and we'll see tomorrow.
To that
what
point,
they can
though, Warren. To that point, when you're a little shaky, there's a little suspicion there, as you put it, Akil. When you get the wins, even though they're against maybe what some people would consider lesser quality opponents,
non-contenders.
It's good for your confidence.
100%.
Right? Yeah. It's good for your confidence.
And it makes it seem as though what you're doing is now working.
Exactly.
That's the formula. Oh, we'll just score.
The system works.
Play in the 120s.
All right, we got this now. And I'd like to see what it's like against better teams. I'm interested in the matchup with Toronto. Raptors are one of the best teams in terms of maybe it's a function of their style too, but keeping the score down and how they're going to play. Now, you do have to defend that cat, Luka.
Absolutely, but we did get a sample of what this team looks like, at least last year, against quality competition. And one of the things that people walked away from their closer games, at the end of games when they had opportunities to win, was how do you get Luka Doncic and how do you get Kyrie Irving to maximize their skill sets when they're both better on ball? How does that get solved this year?
I mean, my thought would be, the guy who's got it going that night, he gets the ball, and the other guy is the next option. So if you run a high ball screen with Luka and he doesn't have the step back, or he gets into a spot where the defense has to come and help, the next guy he pitches it to is Kyrie, because he's tough enough to guard one-on-one, let alone trying to close out or give him a start going downhill. And same with Kyrie. Like if it's his night, then you do that, and the next man is Luka, and that's going to be even more difficult. Or do you put Luka inside? Jason Kidd is a guy that is smart enough, I think, to figure it out.
Yeah, and he's a point guard, so it makes sense.
Is that good for culture, though? Is that how you build long-term success with a team?
No, it's not. But that's how Dallas has chosen to go about it. I think putting Luka in any ball screen, for me, like that's the first option, because he's smart enough to go ahead and make the right decision. And you've seen what he can do. He dashed up the ball, one hand after a double team, and went off the glass. Like, How you do that, I really don't know, but he's able to do that.
About a disgruntled Kyrie,
but I don't think he's
the left-hand cross-court hook passes to a guy in the corner. Like one of those guys has to have the ball.
Yeah, but I think Kyrie accepts the role of him being a secondary option. I think Kyrie's more of a better finisher.
Yes.
I think Luka is a much better
initiator.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Facilitate
And
higher level.
he can make decisions a bit better than any other player on that team.
Okay. All right. So quick shout out to Derek Lively.
Yeah,
their
man.
draft pick showing out currently under the tutelage of Tyson Chandler.
Yeah.
Who,
Well, Dwight, I don't know why, but Dwight Powell seems to like any ball screen with Dwight. It's not like Luka doesn't have the same options. You watch Luka and Mr. Lively there, like any ball screen, Luka's going and putting the ball out like this. If you come to stop the layup, it's a pass now.
Yeah. Right.
And if you don't, it's a layup. So I don't know why the role. Maybe it's because he's just like that athletic, but it doesn't like it's a different ball screen than it was last year.
the injuries are starting to tack on for Dwight.
I think so.
that's
And
taken away
age.
some of his-
And age.
yeah, some
He's
of
just
his bounciness.
youthful. Yeah, youthful energy on that, and his bounce. Like he's ready to dunk everything.
All right. Well, time to head out to the West Coast and check in with Coach Darko.
The other thing, you got to prepare for a guy who didn't know and Wembanyama. This year, say you got to prepare for a guy you do know in Luka. Well, what does he present? What kind of challenges does he present to you guys?
A lot of headaches. We talked about like the type of players. He's arguably top 2-3 players in NBA. Amazing talent for such a young player. Amazing how much experience he has, the way he sees the game, and it's going to be a really exciting challenge for us to get ready for him and compete.
End up having a guy like OG who's guarded him before and has the size and the speed to sort of stay in front of him. It's a big challenge for him, but he's done it before very well. What do you think of him on Luka?
I think he's a great matchup. He matches the size and speed, and OG knows his game, know-how is there. But also we have multiple players, like we have Pascal Siakam that can do that job as well. We have Scotty Barnes that is growing into elite defensive player as well. So we have multiple players on the team that can match up with him successfully, I think.